Hello, I'm Davia Chambers here at Tobago Plantations, and this week we're changing it up a bit. We're taking you inside the mangrove swamp, so stick around, there's more to come. This is Let's Talk Tobago. In the news, piloting an innovative approach to climate change in Tobago. The Scarborough Library facility marks its one-year anniversary, and later we get a first look at the Fashion Coda launch. These and more stories when Let's Talk Tobago continues.
Going to Barbados? Why continue to pay high prices when you can get there for only US $231.95, all taxes included? Yes, you heard right. You can now travel to Barbados from Tobago for a mere US $231.95 on Gold's weekly service. So if you're going to Barbados for business, the beach, crop over, or attending university, stop wasting your money on those other high-priced airlines and get there for a fraction of the cost. To book, just log on to www.vogel.com.br. Barbados just got closer.
Tobago Plantations is the only place on the island that has 3 different species of mangrove. It has the red, the white, and the black. In our first story, the Inter-American Development Bank takes a creative approach to help rehabilitate our Buku Reef. Have a look at this story.
The Buku Reef is one of the most accessible reefs in the Caribbean. It has fascinating, colorful underwater life and is a spectacle for both tourists and locals. It's such a popular spot that frequent visitation by snorkelers over the years and land-based nutrient runoff have left the reef severely damaged. Now, there's a pilot program aimed at protecting this national treasure. It's an innovative approach to climate change adaptation in the Buku Reef area by the Inter-American Development Bank and the Cropper Foundation.
Addressing that concern where you can raise money in a sustainable way to continue work at Buku Reef and rehabilitate the reef is the main concern of this project. Right? Because if Buku Reef is to have a fighting chance against a global problem like climate change, we have to help her out with the local problems like over-tourism and pollution. And a big motivation for this project is solving those 2 local problems.
The project will utilize carnival-themed underwater sculptures as a distraction from the actual Buku Reef.
I'm determined with the scientists to find a way of using the movement of the water to make sculptures or dancing mobiles underneath the surface that move and don't just stand there static.
The project will provide a new source of income for the tourism, cultural and creative industries on the island. It will also include a focus on marketing and financial sustainability for the new attraction.
The program essentially will consist of 3 components. Piloting the underwater art installation, and this will entail the identification of a project site based on environmentally and aesthetic assessment of the potential project sites. An environmental and social management plan for the selected project site, and the production, obviously, and deployment of a preliminary artwork.
The Piloting an Innovative Approach to Climate Change in Tobago project is endorsed by the Tobago House of Assembly, as it will protect the Buku Reef, Trinidad and Tobago's only marine park. I am Keishon Wilson for Let's Talk Tobago.
Here's a little factoid on the black mangrove. They are tolerant of high saline conditions. The trees either grow in isolated groups or woodland formations. Now T&Tech is at it again. In this next report, Omodara Mills sheds some light on their latest operation. Here's more.
Since September 2014, villagers from Runnymede to Charlottesville are getting upgrades to their electricity infrastructures. Dubbed the North Side Project, it's now in Bloody Bay and is expected to be completed by the middle of this year. It's an initiative done to alleviate the problems faced by residents and the Trinidad and Tobago Electricity Commission, T&Tech.
Apart from what we just spoke about, apart from the issue of having better reliability and having less outages, having faster response time when there are outages, apart from that, what Tobagoans will now have, and they have started experience it, is that the mere fact that we have brought power along the roadway, it means that the real estate values are not appreciating, and that there's business prospect for people who want to invest in, say, housing or businesses.
Projects such as the one in the north of Tobago and the one at the Argyle Waterfall Road in Roxborough were done in line with the THA's mantra of clean, green, safe and serene.
We also wanted to look at how do we fit into the greenery of Tobago. We didn't simply want to go in there and just build lines and wherever it passed we cut trees and cut vegetation. So in a very precise way, we designed parts of the circuits where we'll use these fully insulated conductors. And those insulated conductors, one of the major benefits is that they can coexist with the natural vegetation. So you can have trees and bamboo and so on running very close and intermittent touching and so on, and the cables would not bring the supply off.
There are a number of other projects scheduled to take place with collaboration by the Commission and the Assembly.
The Tobago House of Assembly as the persons with responsibility for the development of the island, and TNTech as the company with responsibility for electrification and for lighting, transmission and distribution. We have to work hand in hand to make sure that our operations meet the needs of the Tobago House of Assembly as they seek to develop Tobago. So that's what we are doing in terms of the housing development, street lighting, as well as other industrial projects that are taking place across the island.
The Commission also plans to strengthen the capacity voltage of its substations at Study Park, Corland Bay and Milford Road so that its service is more reliable and can improve the quality of life for people on the island. I'm Umadara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
Mangroves are unique as they can grow in water with poor oxygen content, a very undemanding species. And speaking of water, this story delivers some clarity on the Water and Sewerage Authority's plans to increase the supply on the island. Here are the details.
The Hillsborough Dam is currently at 70% capacity, and the Corland Water Treatment Plant is only producing between 250,000 to 300,000 gallons of water per day. That's only 15% of its volume. So the Water and Sewerage Authority, WASA, will be turning to the 8 wells drilled last year. They include one at Mount Marie, off the Claude Noel Highway, and another at Arnorsville.
It is our intention, within a short time, within the next 3 weeks, to activate another one of these wells at Mary's Hill. And in a further 3 weeks, we activate one at Canby and then at Calder Hall. So we expect that by April, we will have 3 additional wells putting additional water into the system.
Currently, these are test wells, which means they aren't operating at full capacity. This will soon change.
The next phase, by the end of May, we expect to activate 3 full production wells. One in the vicinity of Mount Marie, where we have this existing well. That is projected to do 1 million gallons of water per day. One at Canby, which will do 500,000 gallons per day. And the other at Calder Hall, similarly doing 500,000 gallons of water per day.
Once in production, the 8 wells will add about 4 million gallons of water to what's already available for homes and businesses. WASA will also be looking at other ways of meeting the island's water needs.
At present, we have approximately 5 water trucks in Tobago. We will double that within the next week to 10. We have also readjusted our water supply schedules. We are diverting water where it's feasible from the groundwater sources. These are more reliable or more robust during the dry season to areas that are affected because of their supply surface water sources.
The authority will also continue its water conservation plan to reduce and fix leakages in the shortest possible time, all in an effort to ensure that everyone gets this basic need. The updates on WASA's conservation plan followed a meeting with Chief Secretary Orville London and Minister of Public Utilities, retired Brigadier General Ansel Antoine. The authority will also focus on infrastructural repairs to reduce water loss due to leaks. I'm Kundi Freitas for Let's Talk Tobago.
On the other side of the break, Scarborough's darling, the library facility, turns 1. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Hey, why don't you step into the Scarborough Library facility? It has all the knowledge of our land, people and heritage that you just won't find online. The Scarborough Library facility is now open. Tobago Library Services. Information inspires innovation.
This hidden gem, often overlooked, is a treat for anyone who enjoys the outdoors. The boardwalk that runs through the mangrove is an easy stroll. 1 year later, I'm sure students agree when I say that the Scarborough Library is a fun place to be. Our next report highlights the many activities at the country's most modern library.
Information inspires innovation. That's the slogan for the Scarborough Library facility. In the past 12 months, it's been recognized as more than just a quiet place to study or borrow books. The facility has hosted activities such as the Senior Citizens Computer Literacy Program, Storytime for Children, the July-August Vacation Program for our young adults, and the celebration of International Games Day.
The role of the library is to promote lifelong learning, and to do that you have to cover a wide spectrum of areas because it's learning in a different, not in a formal environment. So by having these various programs, we are engaging persons and allowing them to learn different skills and even helping them in their academic abilities.
Technology is a major feature at the library. Besides the automated book return machine and the self-checkout system that patrons can use for free, there's also the laptop loan kiosk, the first of its kind to be installed in the English-speaking Caribbean.
I'm very proud that we could be deemed totally automated. A user can come in, put their book in the book return, get a receipt, go inside the library, select an item and check it out themselves. So the person is in charge of their total time they spend in the library without having to go to the circulation desk and wait for the staff to check out.
The facility is under the Division of Education, Youth Affairs, Sport and Library Services. Along with its amenities, the users are also pleased with another aspect of the library.
One thing that always has been said to us that is the public are quite happy with the service they receive from the staff, and you know there's a standard with the customer service, and I'm very happy that I'm grateful that the staff have understood their role as customer service persons, even as part of being a library assistant and so on, and able to provide that kind of service to the public.
Thus far, the library has over 7,000 registered users who can access over 60,000 books and materials. As they move forward, the organization intends to continue providing library services that will help to increase literacy on the island. I'm Omudara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
This is the perfect spot to take your wedding photos. And I'm not just saying that. People even have wedding ceremonies in this area with a fairly large deck which looks out to sea. The THA continues on its annual round of meetings with communities. Crystal George was at the meeting in Goodwood and brings us some highlights.
The electoral district of Goodwood Belgarden was the latest stop for the face-to-face community meeting series. It allowed the district area representative to present his plans for the area for 2016. The Zika virus was also a hot topic at the meeting.
So just to summarize, Zika, it's a mild virus. It's spread by the Aedes aegypti mosquito. The most common symptoms are a mild fever, redness of the eyes, a red rash over the body, and you may or may not have joint pains and body pains and headaches. And the most important message to take home is to make sure and remove those sites where the mosquitoes can breed. And what are those places? Those places are containers that you have open collecting water that are in and around the house. Saucers from flower pots, barrels, buckets, open pools of water.
The Zika virus was not the only thing that fell under the umbrella of health. One resident raised the question about the garbage disposal system for this area.
We're hearing that people are going to be fined for cleaning their lands. So we need to know if you have a mechanism in place that would help the ordinary citizen when they are being fined. How can you justify why your land is dirty?
We are at this time communicating with the Division of Infrastructure and Public Utilities in terms of the kind of schedule that people will know what is happening, where we will be. And at the same time, we are working with the Tobago Police Service in terms of monitoring and treating with that. And
one committee member, a teacher of the Goodwood Methodist Primary School, asked about the installation of speed bumps by the school.
Pleading that we can get these speed bumps quickly, the whole stretch primary school into the high school.
At the beginning of the school year, in last September, the division would have come up with an initiative to put speed bumps.
I'm Crystal George for Let's Talk Tobago.
The wood from the red mangrove can be transformed into quality charcoal, and the bark actually produces tannin suitable for leather work. And speaking of that connection between nature and humans, in our next report, we see one initiative aimed at minimizing waste at the island's landfill and reducing possible mosquito breeding sites.
This simple machine is doing its fair share for health and the environment. It's fed with whole tires and uses cutting wheels to shred them into little chips. Why is this important? It's going to make this pile of tires more manageable.
We partner with Swimcall Trinidad. They would have sent the tire shredding machine up to Tobago. This is just one of the initiatives that we have, but we have a lot of other initiatives for waste minimization in Tobago.
Discarded tires take up a lot of space, so shredding helps reduce the volume. They're also a perfect breeding place for the Aedes aegypti mosquito, as they can hold fair amounts of stagnant water for a long period of time. That's why unwanted tires also pose a health risk.
Waste minimization and waste management is something that we're trying to do up at the landfill, and this is part of the waste minimization project that we have, because it reduces the amount of waste that we have up here, because the tires take up a lot of space, so it greatly reduces that amount. And also to combat Zika, right? We know that tires act as a breeding ground for mosquitoes, so that is also part of the initiative to get rid of those tires and to reduce the breeding grounds.
The next logical question is, what's going to happen to the shredded tires?
There are a number of different uses for the shredded material, but what we would be using it for, the garbage that we collect daily, it's usually covered, and we cover that with the dirt. So what we're going to do is mix the material from the shredded tire along with the dirt to cover the garbage that we have up at Study Park here.
The exercise was carried out in partnership with the Trinidad and Tobago Solid Waste Management Company Limited, Swimcall, which provided the tire shredding machine. I'm Kearney Freitas for Let's Talk Tobago.
Coming up, news about the Fashion Coda media launch. See you after the break.
The Tobago House of Assembly has a plan, the Comprehensive Economic Development Plan, CEDP, and it is for all of us. Are you ready to benefit from higher levels of development in Tobago and a higher standard of living?
We ready!
The priority areas are branding Tobago, clean, green, safe and serene, business development and entrepreneurship.
Are you ready?
Human capital development.
I'm ready.
Social development and resilience.
I'm ready.
Improved infrastructure and utilities. Enhanced safety and security.
I'm ready.
Environmental sustainability. Tourism.
Are you ready?
Marine resources and forestry.
Are you ready?
Good governance and institutional reform.
The CEDP is ready. Join us and get on board.
Let's travel the island, straight back to my land, even to Thailand.
Did you know that mangroves are important as they protect the coastlines from wave action? They also hold the soil together and prevent coastal erosion. Next, here's a peek of what you can expect at Tobago Fashion Coda 2016.
Tobago is getting ready for one of its major fashion shows, Tobago Fashion Coda 2016. The event is set to take place on April 21st, 2016 at the Magdalena Grand Beach and Golf Resort, and promises to be a treat of fashion, art, food and entertainment.
The designers this year are 11 in number. I must say 5 of them are Tobago designers who have worked with the THA, in fact, and have been abroad to Jamaica, to Japan, that in the name of Seaweed Designs, we're having Yessa Designs, also from Tobago. I Say You, Christian Benjamin, who is not with us, he's supposed to be with us. You should be joining us shortly. Tobago Girl, of course, who is here. Thank you for coming. And also Movement Tobago, right? They will be taking part on the runway. And we also have designers from Trinidad, of course.
Big names in the local industry will also be featured at this year's Tobago Fashion Coda. And there's an additional designer that's a new feature of the show.
Claudia Pigas, Salim Samuel, Rian Romani, and Millhouse, who's been with here in the past. Now, this year we're featuring another designer, Del's Tall Fashion, who is in fact reaching out to the plus size model, and I think it's a very interesting aspect.
The designers who are featured in this show will also have a chance to market their items for sale.
It will be featured in the art gallery area. We'll explain that a bit further. The day of the event, we're also going to have a pop-up shop Wednesday prior to Tobago Fashion Coda, which is being held on the 21st of April, the Thursday. We'll have it on Thursday as well. And on Friday in the morning time, the hours we would specify as we go along to bring to you.
This year's event will be the 4th edition of Tobago Fashion Coda. I'm Crystal George for Let's Talk Tobago.
Mangroves provide homes for various species of plants and animals. It's also a haven for bird watchers, as it's the ideal place to view a variety of bird species. Now in our next story, we hear about climate, cricket and camaraderie, as one youth club has been visiting Tobago for the past 17 years. Current Freitas caught this story.
In February, it's freezing cold in the UK. It's a time when many English tourists are cruising or flying to the Caribbean to enjoy the warm weather. In 2000, the VNS Cricket Club, which develops young cricketers, took up the invitation to visit Tobago and play against the local lads. They've been coming back every year since to face Tobago's young players.
I think they look forward very much to the trip. I mean, it's tradition that, I mean, when you play against guys from England, the home of cricket, it's something that they all look forward to. And over the years, there have been like good teams coming out of England and also not so good teams. Right? Some of our boys would have gone on to play national age group cricket because of these series playing against these English boys, and it's good fun and good competition.
In exchange, Tobago's young all-star teams have only twice taken up the invitation for a return trip. They're hoping to make it a more regular event where they get a taste of the English culture and learn to play in different conditions. But there are lots of benefits to playing host as well.
It's the appropriate time in that Tobago Cricket Association has started their competition last weekend. The boys, our visitors come from England every February. They come away, they don't miss school actually because it's half term. To answer your question, our boys do enjoy the camaraderie. They've made friends.
For the visitors, it's also the chance to forge friendships that last a lifetime.
They experience the sights and sounds and to some extent smells of another country. They would never, ever think that an island could be so beautiful, can be so friendly. They will take back to the UK not only the warmth of the people of Tobago, but also the fraternity of cricketers, because they meet friends here and they're friends for life. With the new electronic medias and able to communicate with each other, they will be Snapchatting and emailing each other over the next number of years until they meet again.
It's an experience that only the gentleman's game can bring. I'm Curly Freitas for Let's Talk Tobago.
The white mangrove is the shortest of the mangrove species. It usually grows in the back section of the mangrove swamps, remaining unaffected by the tidal flow. Now we take you to a place where art, craft and food meet for a day. Leave it to this story to enlighten you on what I mean.
Tobago's entrepreneurs are getting another avenue to sell their products, locally made jewelry or clothing, to name a few. Where may you ask? Well, at the market day at the Shade.
The entire experience right now, has been well. I've gotten a really good reception. I think people come here looking for something local. They come here looking for a diverse group of items. I only wish there were more people selling.
The event has been in existence for just over 1 year and has been attracting a crowd on the last Sunday of every month.
The idea behind it was just to bring more sustainable local crafts and produce to the consumers in Tobago. We have a very globalized system down here where you go to penny savers and you get all this foreign stuff, but we don't have the local options. And because of that, we kind of disconnected from our food and our craft.
And for the entrepreneurs, it's a lucrative market.
The experience is really great, but the only problem I find, it always comes back to marketing.
I see it as a platform for so many things to happen for Tobagonians and a lot of businesses that aren't thriving, because a lot of markets and creative persons are here today, and sometimes they hardly get the kind of sale. So the avenue that Market Day creates for this it's a lucrative one as well.
The event's aim is to promote sustainable development in Tobago. I'm Crystal George for Let's Talk Tobago.
It's now time to have your say. And our question for you is, what suggestions do you have for the police in dealing with crime in Tobago? Now let's take a look at who had their say this week.
More patrols in the community, to work with the village council and of course, network with the persons in the various communities.
Plenty people just feel like police is robot, they're supposed to just solve something just so. Without any assistance from the public, the police don't really have nothing to deal with when it comes to dealing with crime.
Try to deal with the public in a nice way, because once you deal with that, then you have a nice relationship with the public and the police.
I follow the case throughout the lifetime of the case, even in the courts. Go every court case, make sure we're present and not miss any cases and try and get all the evidence and everything in order and just make sure justice is served.
They do more around the clock patrol in Scarborough and throughout communities.
We as citizens, we have to work with the police. Work with them, anything illegal or whatever, and the police is not around to see, we is the one supposed to let the police know because it will affect us.
That's all for us on this edition of Let's Talk Tobago. We thank you for watching. Please email us if you have a comment or query about this program, and be sure to visit our website, like us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. From our house to yours, I'm Davia Chambers, along with the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly, wishing you a safe and productive week. We close now with footage from Fashion Coda 2015.